Do you ever feel like a misfit? Everything inside you is dark and twisted. Oh, but it's okay to be different, 'cause baby, so am I. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I wanted to come at you today. This is a not an Earth 2 video. This is a veterans reaction. I'm not gonna make it a veterans react. It doesn't really have to do with being a veteran. Although it might. Mr. Potato Head, or now just Potato Head. This is something where I didn't know it was a 70-year-old child's plaything. I thought it was just a something that character that was made up for Toy Story, but oh, was I wrong. The boomer that I worked with was just like, what are you, freaking stupid? I was like, no, well, and he's just like, he's like, no, it's been a thing for years. Like, you didn't grow up with this, but it's something that I grew up with. I was like, well, no, I kind of grew up with it too. They had it from Toy Story, but I didn't know. And he was, again, boomer, so he was like super offended. He was just like, oh, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. And is he right? Well, I'd like to think that the world is doing really well. I mean, I think if you take a look at it and you say, like, okay, well, what is the quality of life for everyone on Earth? Like, has it been risen, which it clearly has, or has it decreased? And no, well, it's mostly been risen. Like in 2000, the World Health Organization said they wanted to have the rate of poverty by 2015. And they did it by 2013, so they did 2 years ahead of schedule. And I know that a lot of people kind of complain about there's a lot of political strife saying like, oh well, the 1% gets everything, and capitalism is evil. And I could do a whole series of videos on that. But like in the military, I never saw anyone running away from a capitalist country. Like that just didn't happen. You don't see it. But to their credit, to that point, saying like, okay, yes, a lot of money does go to the 1%, and the middle class is shrinking, but that rising tide raises all ships, where the standard of living has grown so exponentially, since I was a kid in the 90s. And I'm bringing it back to the Mr. Potato Head thing. Like, does that suck that they are changing something that, yeah, people don't like change, especially as you get older. So if you see something was a certain type of way for a long time, yeah, people are going to get pissed off. They're going to get, really angry. And for older people, most things in life were the same. Like, nothing was different until, I mean, I guess when drugs started to become, more popular and more, widely used, and, it first came rock and roll. But for the most part, things stayed kind of the same. And then this whole technology and everything changed in the 90s when the internet came out, and now you have people that just, instead of how it was for up until for the end of time, people go out, they go drink, they have a good time, they party, and now a lot of people are just like, no, I'm gonna sit in my room here, I'm gonna enjoy this book, and then there's always people like that, but now it's like, okay, well, I'm going to, instead of going out and if you're a guy, instead of meeting girls or instead of meeting friends, I'm going to sit in my room and go on Facebook and play video games and be alone. And it's not really something that had happened years ago, or maybe it did, or just wasn't as ubiquitous. But now there's some really fun entertainment where, okay, I don't have to go outside and spend money. I don't have to go out and do these things that maybe I don't want to do. Maybe I get anxious with crowds. And yeah, it's a fun time. Like, I've done that before too. It's fun. Like, especially now, I don't get nights off. Like, I haven't had a day off in months. And it would be great to just sit at home and play video games. Like, that would be heaven. But the idea that the world's going to hell because Mr. Potato Head is now just Potato Head, and that there is something to be said about cancel culture, and I think it's very bad. And why this might have been a veterans rap is because, like, that's a freedom of speech. And well, Hasbro, the company that owns, it's so weird. They own, I think they own Death Row Records as well. So they own the music of a couple of different rappers. They own My Little Pony. They own Transformers. They're crazy. They are wild, and I don't know if they're publicly traded. If they were, I would totally invest. But it's their choice to do what they want to do, and that's what I think It should be companies should do what they think is right. Hopefully, it is right. Obviously, some companies do some, there's how they outsource. They pay people very little when they outsource. Although, you kind of have to go through that. I mean, a lot of people think like, oh well, you're paying these people pennies. Like maybe like 10 cents an hour overseas. And it's like, okay, well, normally they wouldn't make anything, or if they do work there, maybe they're making a penny or two a day. But now, you're increasing. So people have to go through that. Other countries do. You can't just go to multiple dollars right away. A lot of crazy stuff happens. But the idea that I don't like cancel culture. I was very, very upset when they bullied Jenna Marbles, one of my heroes, like when I was deployed, and like, yeah, new videos every Wednesday. It's great. Love her. Love that whole thing. And we didn't get it. Like her videos stopped because of cancel culture. Gina Carano, who, again, I did a video about her. It stopped. Like she got fired off of Star Wars, and yeah, she's doing some things elsewhere for the Daily Wire, directing her own movie now, and what she said, what she didn't say. Like again, veterans, you almost can never offend. It's like it's very, very hard to. So you could say some like god awful jokes about whatever, me or whoever. Now, I'm not going to get offended. So Gina, what she said, I don't think what she said was that bad. Just trying to say like, okay, well, and just her words or her tweet saying like, well, a lot of Nazis were able to round up, Jews in the 40s because their neighbors, it was told like, okay, you should hate these people. So their neighbors made it easy and to hate them and ratted them out. And it's kind of similar, obviously not a direct one for one, but it is similar. It's saying like, okay, well, how is that different from, people right now being told to hate someone because they're conservative or they're Republican? And, there's just that weird stigma where like, okay, well, if you're Republican, you hate minorities or you hate the poor, which again, I'm not really Republican. I'm more libertarian. That's why I believe businesses should do what they do. But I don't. Human emotion is very. They don't like change. Humans do not like change. They're very odd, and even if something changes for the better, they don't like it. So Mr. Potato Head or Potato Head is just one of the latest things in a long line of things that are changing, and just people don't like it. Do I think it's necessary? No, because the reason that they changed it, they don't believe that the head of the household should be called a Mr. or Mrs. It should be just a person. It's like my first thought was like, all right, come on, guys. Like, I thought it was like, hey, you know what? I thought it was supposed to be, hey, you know what? Some that might maybe people that are not sure of their gender or their gender fluid. Maybe they don't like the Mr. They don't like gender pronouns. Maybe how do you know? Granted, he's a potato. They don't know how. You just gender him. You just assume that person's gender or that potato's gender. Can't believe I'm having this freaking conversation. So that's what I thought it was, but then it was not that. I was like, okay, well, we can't just assume that the head of a household is always going to be a Mister. I was like, okay, I guess, but you could. I don't think they had to do that. I think maybe there was just a ploy. It's like, oh, let's get people talking about Mr. Potato Head again, and this will increase so many sales, and maybe it will. I mean, hell, I'm talking about it right now. Excuse my foul language. Everyone that wants to just play and Republicans are the ones like, oh, you're snowflakes playing victim, and okay, yeah, there's some truth to that, but also like you don't see normal people like, oh, they're changing Mr. Potato Head, and then, whatever. But it's like the people on the right, they're so outraged, like, oh, they're changing this, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. It's like, all right, calm down, guys. Like, is it weird that yeah, it's a little weird. Their own company, they can do what they do, and anyway, that's just my opinion on it. I just wanted to vent. I love you guys. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I hope you like my singing. Goodbye. Yeah.